today's message that I feel led to share with you today is to be your authentic self. Be your authentic self. There are other people are already taken, and there's only one you. All right, you have a uniqueness about you. You have a gifting that is different than any other individual that is walking the face of the earth. Yes, there are many people that are similar, but you are your own person, and the Most High does not want you to be over there striving to be someone else. All right, be your authentic self. So I'm gonna read an excerpt from my book right here in chapter 12, and then I'm gonna get into more of the meat. All right. It said there is a common saying that it is okay to be a copycat as long as you are copying the right cat. I do believe that we should watch and learn from mentors and successful individuals, but I do not believe that we should go as far as idolizing them. It is perfectly fine to take notes and to even emulate some of the characteristics of those whom you may respect, but make sure that you do not lose yourself in the process. How many of us know individuals that have taken it upon themselves to emulate certain qualities, certain characteristics, certain ways that we dress, certain ways that women, they wear their hair, all right, and they lose themselves along the journey. I'm encouraging you today, whether this is in the world of business, whether it's in the world of your everyday life, spirituality, be your authentic self. There are individuals that even when we talk about spirituality, there's individuals for those of you that that been to church or go to church, you know that some individuals, they start hooping, they start hollering, they start, the individuals, and next thing you know, the person that gets up, instead of being their authentic self, they start trying to preach and teach just like a person that was doing all the yelling, the screaming, the hooping, the hollering, the dancing, jumping over bleachers, doing all kind of things. And they try to emulate that style, and they do not get the same results. And so this is apparent, is that when individuals see that you are trying to be something that you are not, they will in return end up losing respect for you. So this leads me to the next key that can unlock doors of opportunity in your future. Make sure that you are your authentic self in whatever setting that you may find yourself in. This is what I want to tell you all. Whatever setting that you're in. This is information that I've gained, like I told you, over interviewing possibly over 10,000 individuals. So many of them have shared with me to be yourself. Now, of course, they were talking about in business, all right, but be yourself, period. Your authentic self. When you try so hard to be someone else, you will never gain the respect that comes from being the person that the Creator made you to be. So I'm gonna stop it right there, and we're gonna go into some examples, all right? Because this is really key. Now let's go to Proverbs chapter 22. Before I go into the examples, let's go ahead and bring the wisdom scripture in. I don't want to go too far without introducing the wisdom to the talk today. Proverbs 22 and verse number 29. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. So the person that is diligent in his business, now I'm imploring you on top of this scripture today, not just to be diligent, but to be your authentic self while you're being diligent. And so when we look at this word diligent, when you look at it in the English, definition of it, you're going to get having an extreme care for what you do. But if you look at this more in the Hebrew understanding, this word diligent means it is my ear, and that my ear is from the root word mahar, and mahar is to be liquid, is to flow easily. So as we are conducting our business, we need to be like liquid. We need to be like water. We need to flow easily. All right, and while we're flowing easily, because what comes easy to a person is you being yourself. You being your authentic self, that comes easy. It flows easily out of you. And so the my ear means to be quick and to be hensful, skillful, to be hasty, and to be ready. So when you look at it from the Hebrew definition of that word being diligent, my ear is we're supposed to be quick. We're supposed to be hasty in a good way. We're supposed to be ready to be ourselves, ready to have a care for our business, ready to flow and to be smooth like liquid or to be like water. So keep that in mind as you strive and make sure that you're not trying to be like someone else. Me personally, when I'm in a setting and I am true to who I am, everything flows easily out of me. I don't have to sit back here and have to worry too much about my style, about my delivery, about my tonality, because it is me. Those of you that have heard me teach, those of you that have heard me share the word, you know that this is me. And if you see me in person, this is me. This is me. You either gonna love me or you're gonna hate me. And so, but so many people, because they want to get brownie points from individuals, be so many people in the corporate world, they want to, kiss behind and they want to do all kind of things to, climb up the corporate ladder, if you will. They, in return, become someone else and they lose their authenticity. And so when they look at themselves in the mirror at the end of the night, they are looking at someone that's ashamed of themselves. And if you have fallen victim to that today, I want to speak to you and tell you, return back to being your authentic self. That's who the Creator has put you here for. So let's go to some examples of this real quick. All right. Kobe Bryant. All right. We're going to get some secular sources here. Kobe Bryant. We know that Kobe Bryant, he emulated Michael Jordan. He emulated the way that he walked. He emulated the way that he talked on interviews. He even wagged his tongue like Michael Jordan. All right, the way he did certain moves, certain post moves, certain fadeaways. All right, he had the intensity like Michael Jordan. But in the end, they recommended him. They talked about how he had the Mamba mentality and his grit and his grind, his work ethic. Some people would say is unmatched and is on a level that no other NBA player has ever exemplified. Period. But individuals always say that he is compared to Michael Jordan, and he will never be better than Michael Jordan. Why? Because he stole all his moves. Why? Because he stole basically his identity. And so some individuals will say, well, that's okay. It's okay to copy the right cat, as long as you copy the right cat, like I read at the beginning of the chapter of the book. All right. But you, at the end of the day, you want to still be known for being you. Kobe Bryant. So let me talk about a couple other individuals whom I've been able to meet in person. These individuals who I have a great deal of respect for, but I had to make it up in my mind that I am going to be true to me and I'm not going to be trying to be like them. Number one, Myron Golden. All right, Myron Golden. This man right here, I talk about wisdom, I talk about wealth, and he talks about wisdom and wealth. And when I hear him speak on YouTube or heard him speak in person, it's like I'm sitting on the edge of my seat and I'm just so amazed at the words and the wisdom and all the things that flows out of his mouth. But he has a story. And his story is not my story. His story came from being, birthed in a hospital and contracting polio at a young age and having to walk with a brace on his leg. All right, that's his story. And going through all the different things that he had to deal with. He talks about, I think, about like his third grade being like his last like high achieving grade in school. And after that, he had to kind of, get by, and he graduated, things of that nature. But in the business world, he's had his different challenges. In the business world, now he has been ridiculed for going to the marketplace and sharing biblical principles. But he has been one of those individuals, and of course there's individuals before him, but he has been one of those individuals who have made it okay by him being his authentic self in the marketplace, by him being able to teach biblical principles in secular arenas. He has opened up the doors for individuals like myself and other individuals to do the exact same thing. Now, I was going to do it regardless of if I ever met Myron Golden or not, because I've been sharing these biblical principles myself. But he's on a larger scale. He's has so many different people that are listening to his words, right? And guess what? Now he is over 1 million subscribers. So that means that it was over 1 million people that was waiting for him to be his authentic self. Now I challenge all of you, go back to Myron Golden's pages and look at his older videos from 2015 and how he was kind of talking all proper, and he had his beard shaved off. He had the clean European look. All right. And then somewhere maybe around 2016, 17, he started to stay true to his authentic self. He grew his beard out. All right. He stopped looking, that I want to say feminized look of not having no hair on your face. He started growing his beard out, and he had to make the decision that, listen, I'm going to be who I am in the marketplace. And because what I have is so valuable, I'm going to grow my beard out. I'm going to let my gray hair show. And because what I have is so valuable, I'm not going to switch it up. And it's either you going to be with me or not. And there were so many people that valued his words. And they said, listen, I'm not worried about the hair that's on your face. I'm worried about the results that you can give me. And when you stay true to yourself, and when you master the skill that you have, when you master your craft, when you spend time, like Malcolm Gladwell said, when you put in your 10,000 hours, individuals will come and spend money with you, whether you have your hair wrapped up, whether you have a full gray beard, whether your beard drops all the way down to the floor. If you are valuable in what you have to offer and being true to your authentic self, individuals are going to come from miles and miles away to put $100 bills into your pocket. Myron Golden, so much respect for Myron Golden and what he's done. I've been to his conference. I've been able to see, I've been able to hear, different things, gleaning different wisdoms from him. But it all came by him being his authentic self. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher, one of the world's greatest motivational speakers. Some people will say he's number one in the world. All right, some people would debate with that at this time, where he's at now. But one of the greatest motivational speakers known to mankind. Guess how he blew up? He was true to his authentic self. Go back to his videos. Like I told you, go back to Myron Golden's older videos at the beginning. Go back to E.T.'s older videos. And he was trying to be something else. He was trying to come with the shirt and the tie. He was trying to come in there. Even when you see him with the fitted cap, go back to his older videos. Some of them, you might even get a glimpse of him with his hairline going back. All right. Some people say that's why he's throwing that fitted cap on. It's not just to be cool. He's hiding that hairline, but that's a whole different story. But guess what? Back in those older videos, he was trying to dress up. And somewhere along the road, he said, this is not me. Somewhere along the road, he said, this is not true to my culture. This is not true to who I am. So guess what? I'm going to throw this fitted cap on. Guess what? I'm going to make my own clothing brand. And I'm going to wear pictures of myself with my hands stretched out. I'm going to walk on the stage and give motivational speeches in basketball shorts and Air Jordans. He was true to his authentic self. And guess what Eric Thomas did? Like Myron Golden did. They opened up the doors for so many people, including myself, to be my authentic self in whatever the arena I am in. Because guess what? You go back and see me. Some of you all have just started to hear me speak in the last year, 2 or 3 years. But guess what? I have been speaking since 2008. And I was speaking at the place called the Lord's Kitchen, which was a place where homeless people came, and they came and got free food. And I would stand on this podium and I would speak to them. And I was inspired by some of the speakers back at that time. And so I would speak to them, but guess what? I was coming dressed up. I was coming with my shirt and my tie. And even years later down the road, I was popping up on the scenes with the shirt and the tie. And some engagements, I still may wear the shirt and the tie today, depending on the place where I'm at. But there's certain people like E.T. that guess what? He's probably not wearing a shirt and tie anywhere. Because of his value in the marketplace, because he commands $50,000 to $100,000 per speaking engagements. It's either you want what I have, it's either you want your employees to be motivated, you want your employees to be inspired by the gift that I have, or you can go find someone else. And he stays true to his authentic self. Another person, Les Brown. Les Brown paved the way. When you're talking about motivational speakers, he did this in the 1990s when there was not a bunch of people that had melanin on their face. An industry that was dominated by Caucasians. He came in and put in the hours of research. He put in the hours of reading the dictionary and getting his verbiage together and articulating words and putting word phrases together. And he came on the stage. Now, some individuals will look at him and say, well, man, he's not being true to himself because he was catering to more of a Caucasian crowd. Well, guess what, Lear? Listen here. For those of us that are trying to expand and reach larger audience, myself myself. I want to be able to, speak hablo español. I want to be able to engage in Spanish and business, right? So if I was talking to you in English or talking to you in Hebrew, but then I saw my hermano over here and I start speaking to a hermano or amigo in a different term, am I still being true to myself or am I being someone else? Where in that case of mine, I'm speaking a language that individuals can receive. So you can still be your authentic self and deliver a message in the way that you deliver it and still speak to the masses in their language. Some of you might get that on the way home. So Les Brown, he worked on himself over and over and over again. To this day, he's one of the greatest speakers. I will venture to say, I like Myron Golden, but I like Les Brown, may be the greatest speaker I've ever heard of all time. And he's that dynamic. Go back to his old stuff. I'm not talking about the old 75-year-old Les Brown on there just talking now on YouTube. You can still get some wisdom from him at this older age because they're giving you the life experience. But I'm talking about go back and see his videos from the 1990s and you will be inspired, you will be motivated, but you will be impressed by the vocabulary that exuded from his mouth. But guess what? That was him. He came into the arenas with the suits on, with the ties, and he did the corporate thing. So in the hood, Les Brown was not getting speaking engagements in the hood all like that. At least that was not on social media. But I was watching a podcast where someone brought him online to share some valuable information, and I believe that he said that was only the second or maybe third so-called brown or black podcast that brought him on. So the way he was catering to back in those times, it may have been more for other people, but he was still being true to himself in the process.